Hi, welcome to the Creative Treehouse. My name is Robin Broom, and I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the United States. Thanks for joining me in the Treehouse today. Today's project is this card, and where we're focusing on embossing. Now, I recently had a class that was called All About Masks, and it was around Halloween time, so I thought that was sort of comical, but I didn't really mean Halloween masks. I meant the decorative masks that Stampin' Up! Has. And here's an example of one. This one, their masks come in a set of 4, and this particular one is from the Basic Patterns, and it's in the annual catalog, and we will be using that one today. We'll also be using 2 stamp sets. We'll be using the Daisy Lane stamp set, also in the annual catalog, and we'll be using the medium daisy right here, as well as this one is I used on the inside of the card. And then the sentiments I used from Shaded Summer, and we used this particular one, and I think that is it. Let me give you the dimensions. I'm using just a regular A2 card, which would be the basic white, and it is cut at 5.5 by 8.5 and scored at 4 1/4. And then we've got Pear Pizzazz, and it is 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. And then we'll have a piece of basic white, and it will be cut at 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. And I'll have those measurements also on my blog so that you can follow there. You don't have to rewind or anything to get those measurements. All right, so we've got a lot to learn if you don't know about embossing paste. It's fun, but it's kind of messy. So I'm going to bring in some scratch paper here. My scratch pad with Paper Pumpkin by Stampin' Up! If you don't know about Paper Pumpkin, ask. It's it says it's better than a box full of puppies. It's a subscription, and it's really, really cool, a monthly subscription. Okay, I've got my basic white ready, and I'll need my mask ready, and you also need the embossing paste. And this one I think is actually a brand new one, and they have it wrapped up nice and tightly, and there's a reason for that. It's because the embossing paste will dry out. Let's see if this one's opened yet. It is not opened. So it has this little foil. Let me see if I can get it to release here. Here it comes. All right, but not in one sheet. All right, we'll just start to pull it away here. All right, so that's what the embossing paste looks like. There we go. And you need to keep it sealed up. Whenever you're not using it, you need to seal it back up again. And some people actually put like saran wrap or something and kind of tuck it in there. They even cut this and do that. You can do that. You can put a lid on it. And then you can also keep it back in this bag, whatever you need to do to try to preserve it, and because you don't want it to dry out, because once it's dried out, there's really nothing you can do about it. And speaking of drying out, with your palette knives, you need to wipe those off right away, and as well as your decorative masks. If you don't, I should have brought the example, if you don't dry them, wash them off, and you can just wash them, and you can take them to the sink, and warm soapy water will do it. And it'll come off if you've done it right away. If you've not done it right away, it's pretty much like cement, and it won't come off. You can kind of get your fingernail there and scrape some of it off, but highly recommend as soon as you're done to wipe it off. When we had class, we tried to use like just a baby wipe or something to get it cleaned in between people, because it would even dry that quickly. So, all right, and the next thing that we're going to need for this particular one is we're going to need something to mix our paint on, our colors. It's not really paint, our embossing. So I've got just some wax paper here. So I'm going to get my palette knife, and I'm going to reach in, and I'm going to get a blob of the paste here, and I'm going to do a little more over here. Okay. And then we're going to take our Reinkers, and that's how we get our pretty colors. I'm going to start with the Daffodil Delight, And I think I may pull a little bit more. No, that's probably right. I'm going to put one drop. Just see if I can manage to get just one drop in here. Because it's pretty strong, pretty powerful. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and mix that up. So you just kind of get to play. It's almost as fun as finger painting. It will come off of your fingers. So if anybody's concerned about that. So you just want to mix it until you don't see any of the white, unless that's a look that you're going for, and that can work as well. All right, and then we are going to wipe that off. I'm going to use a paper towel, and I will probably also use, I think a paper towel will work in this case. So I'm just going to wipe that off because we don't at this point want our yellow into our green. All right, and then I have the soft Seafoam. And I'm going to probably put about 3 drops of that. It's a light color. I probably could have gone with Pear Pizzazz, but that's just what I originally did, and it worked just fine. So we're going to mix up our soft Seafoam. Again, just stirring it and mixing it with a palette knife until you don't have any more of the white showing. And I may have to go one more drop. I don't know that 3 was quite enough. I think I'm going to go one more drop and make it just a tad darker. And you can, I think somebody even in one of our classes did 3 colors and used this color and used a green, a little darker green. Let's try if we can just get, whoop, I kind of had 2 drops in there, and I think that would probably be just fine. Let's mix that all up and get those drops from over there. Yes, I think I like that color better. A little bit darker. All right, so now that we've got our colors mixed up, you kind of feel like there's certain things that makes me feel like a mad scientist. So, kind of fun. All right, again, it is messy. All right, so I'm going to wipe off my palette knife. Okay, because I'm going to start with the yellow. All right, let me slide this. See, I'll slide it. I'm right-handed. I'm going to slide it off to the right just a little bit. And then I'm going to take my mask and decide where I want to put it. Now, what we did in the class was we put a piece of washi tape. If we put it back here, because sometimes even the washi tape will pull and tear the paper, and it's not going to matter if it tears it on the back side. So, but I'm just going to try and see if I can hold it without washi tape. We'll see how that goes. And I'm going to start with the yellow. And I just sort of went diagonally and went probably, I don't know, 2 or 3 rows in. So you just take the paste and you just smear it on. That's all there is to it. And you can smear it as thick as you want or as light as you would like. So, and I think I went pretty much all the way to this, almost to the edge there. And this way. And the one way you can tell if you've gotten it all, you're going to kind of scrape it back like that, is if there's white showing. Like there's a little tiny bit of white right there. And there, I don't know if you can tell the difference that I managed to smooth it all out. And if you see lines, here on the top, you'll also see them when you pull it off. So just kind of smooth it all out. And the package comes with several different palette knives, different sizes. So just I don't think it really matters, use the one that just seems to fit you the best. What you would feel comfortable working with. All right, so I've got the yellow, and I think I've got it pretty much the way I would like it to be. I think I made a little bit more of an ombre look the last time. Well, we'll have a little bit of that, I think. Let's go right in here. All right, and then if you have additional, you can put it back. And it looks like I have enough that I could probably make another card. So I'm going to wipe off my palette knife once again, and now I'm going to go with the green. Okay, so I'm going to just take the green, and I'll start where I left off here. We want to be sure that we have enough room for the sentiment. That is one thing we ran into in the class. And you could probably put the sentiment on first, and then you'll have something to gauge it by, to go by. Okay, we'll do the green. All right, so it's just kind of fun. It's a little bit relaxing, as long as you remember that you do have a kind of a time limit on getting it done before it does dry fairly quickly. And if you're in a hurry, you can, once you've pulled it off, you can also use your heat tool and dry it and set it more. Once it's set, you can do other things. You can even take the blending brushes and add color that way. So you don't even have to color it this way. You could use the blending brushes after it is all dried. Okay, I'm going to kind of smooth it all off. Let's see, make sure I don't have any white holes. I feel like maybe there's not one there. All right, and then however you want to do it, if you want to leave it this way with the little holes and so it's not super smooth, and I should have a little bit of an ombre look as well. So there you have it, and you just kind of clean it off. Again, trying to make sure I don't have a lot of lines. Let me wipe it off the palette knife. I'm going to go back through here one more time. There we go. All right, and there was just a little bit on my knife, not enough to save, but there is quite a bit to save on here, and so I will set that aside and I'll have enough to make another card. All right, so let's lift it up and see what it looks like. Aha, isn't that neat? Isn't that neat? That's really pretty. I really like that. It's really, really nice. All right, but if you remember what I said, we need to wipe this off. So because I'm not near a sink at the moment, I'm going to use a baby wipe, and I'm going to just wipe it. As long as you wipe it first, like right away, you should be fine. So make sure I've got it all cleaned off. I didn't drag it back through the paste. And I'm going to kind of work on both sides, be sure I got it all. So it does have still some residue because it was difficult to do that with a room full of people, but we managed. And let me set that aside now that it's cleaned. All right, I'm going to move this over, and I'm going to fold this so I don't get our embossing paste on anything else. And we can use that as our scratch paper. But that is basically it. And I will go ahead and I'll tell you what, I'll slide this over here while it dries a little, and I'll get out my Daffodil Delight and my medium daffodil, and let's see if I can flip my paper over. All right, and we'll just ink it up. I'm going to put it towards the edge because we're going to use a punch with this, and so put them side by side. You'll need two, or you don't have to, but that's a good way to layer your daisy. And then we'll get our medium daisy punch, and the punches are awesome. It takes you a little while to get used to operating them upside down. It seems like you should do the punch the other way, but this way you get to line everything up, and when you've got it exactly the way you want it, just punch it out. All right, and then we'll do the next one. And there is a large daisy punch as well. All right, and then you've got the two daisies, and I'm gonna apply just a tiny bit of the liquid glue. Decide which one I want, just to the center of one, and that will be our bottom one, and I will set that in at an angle in between. And so there you've got your daisy. Now I thought the daisy was a little bit light, and so I took my Daffodil Delight, my dark Daffodil Delight stamping blend, and I colored in the center. Just gave it a little bit more contrast. So it's kind of got little bubbles, and I just tried to stay within the lines. You don't always have to. So, and I just thought that gave it a little bit more contrast. I liked that. All right, so there we have our daisy, and then once it's dry, I put a dimensional, and I put the daisy here, and I also did the sentiment. We can get the sentiment out again. It's in Daffodil Delight. Let's see if I've actually left enough room for the sentiment. I think we did. Maybe. Oop, I might have rocked it. Let's see if I did. Yep, it was close. And then if it so happens that you've run into it and you don't like it, or you've made it crooked, we can always go back and just put it on. There's almost always a fix for everything, but I can put it on a white piece and stamp it and cut it out and apply it right there, and that will work. So, and I think because it's not dry, the paste is not dry, I'm not going to actually put the daisy down, but I'll just set it right there just for a second for you to see. And we put the pear pizzazz under it. And it's a happy color combination. I like these colors. And it's just the pattern that you make with the embossing paste and the decorative mask is just fun. So there's that, and then there's just a little bit of edge of the white on that one, and that's what we end up with. So it looks like my yellow here is a little lighter than that one. Maybe overall it is. But anyway, I kind of like the ombre look where it kind of blends in, but you can make it more defined if you want, and not ombre. And again, I used the small flower on the inside of the card. So that is it. That's the project in a nutshell. Let me pull our paper out. And I hope you learned something. Maybe you've not ever worked with embossing paste. I have a sweet friend who was not able to come to the class, and she wanted me to do a video. So here is your video, Miss Lisa. And hope it works, and if you have any questions, just shoot me an email or leave a comment with your question, and I'll see if I can get back to you. And I'll do at least one more video using the embossing paste. And I think that would be it from the Treehouse. And I am so excited to report that I did pass the 700 mark on subscribers. So I'm so excited. And we just need to keep climbing. My goal is to get to 1,000. So if you haven't already subscribed to the Creative Treehouse, to my YouTube channel, I would love it if you would do that. And if you already have, thank you so much. It just tickles me to death. So thank you for joining me today in the Treehouse, and I'll see you again next time. Take care. Bye-bye.